Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our No Buff Rift Clear series. Today, we will be having a look at a rift that functions similarly to one that we have looked at in the past couple of weeks, but it is distinctly different in one big way. And I mean that as we will be looking at the level 25 Boost Defeat Ultron Sentries rift. Now, this rift has increased damage on both sides of the fight from the start, as opposed to the damage ramp up that we've seen in previous rifts that we've looked at, which means that you've just got to be mindful of how you are encountering your opponents. Mainly the opponents that are of the mighty variety, because they are able to retaliate right back against your attacks, as they have a stagger bar that needs to be completed before they become fully vulnerable and incapable of retaliating back out against you. But as long as you keep a mindful eye on those opponents, then you shouldn't have any real issues going through with this. Now, this rift is a progressional one where you do have to make your way through a couple of levels of the Avengers Tower. It's the exact same pathing that you see within the story quest, again with that caveat difference of the opponents dealing more damage. Now, from a speedrunner standpoint, I generally recommend skipping past some of the opponents that are in this initial hallway, but where we're really needing to make sure that we're focusing on getting the maximum amount of damage in through our synergy attacks for one of the clear conditions, that will cause me to stop and defeat these opponents as they pop up, which is kind of off character for how I typically play the game, but it does indeed work for us. I did mention briefly the clear condition. Let's talk a little bit more about those as I continue through these corridors and fight segments. The first thing that you need to keep in mind to get the multiple stars on this clear is, as with almost any rift or even casual playthrough, you want to be prioritizing your synergy attacks, and that is exactly what you see happening in all of these rounds of combat that we enter into. However, it is a very low mark to beat, as it is only 65,000 damage or more that is required by the synergy attacks, and though I don't show the score at the end of this round, we have over 9 times the amount of that minimum damage requirement through synergy attacks applied throughout the course of this rift. So really, as long as you are prioritizing your synergy attacks whenever initially going into combat, you can hit this even casually and without trying to. Again, that is contingent on you focusing on using those types of attacks in your standard gameplay. The other criteria, which can be a little bit scary, especially with a lower level team, is you need to get through this fight with only having one of your teammates incapacitated, ideally none of them. But without having any of your teammates capacitated, you can have one go down and still get that third clear. But the scary thing with this in reality is the fact that these opponents do hit harder, and that can be quite scary, especially towards the end segment where you have several of the mighty enemies coming through. However, this team, despite the fact that I don't have any of their abilities ranked up, does work quite nicely, because Black Panther has his Vibranium Slash that he can use to close in on opponents that deals massive amounts of stagger damage, and then Hulk, Psylocke, and Wolverine really pad out the remainder of those team synergies and damage output potential. There's a reason that this entire team build falls into the S tier ranked characters from my ranked and reviewed series, which if you're not watching that, there's a new episode going up every single Wednesday, and there is a playlist of those videos put together so you can learn a little bit more about the interworkings of each individual character and how you can best use them to your advantage, or the weaknesses that you need to be aware of with characters that you enjoy playing with. But that really should be all the things that we need to discuss about this particular rift. Again, it can be very intimidating with a lower level team, and as soon as you're familiar with the optimal strategies, you can make it through even with a team that is under leveled or does not have the ideal setup that you would normally have in these type of situations. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you leave a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day.